All right. A little bit of trouble getting things started, but we will get things moving as best we can. This is episode 108 of Live Drawing. We're here broadcasting out of my studio, working on Undersea Hero. We're continuing to work on it. We're on page 34, and we're going to work on this panel here. It's probably going to take a considerable amount of time just based on how many figures are in it. We've got to draw our spongeman here attacking Undersea Hero out of the mouth of the big ship. And we'll just see how far we get. I do not have my prelim with me, so we're not going to be able to take on this part of the piece, but we'll be able to work on it right here. And if we get ahead, we got a lot of time left. We can either ink some of this, or we can just call it early. So I will show off. This is page 33 that we did last week. Let's see. He has told Professor Prawn to launch, and he has this maniacal look on his face, and then presses the button, and then things don't work exactly right, and then the correlator is angry, and then he tries the tried and true method of turning it on and turning it back off, and turning it off and turning it back on again. So very simple, relatable, quick little vignette in the story. All right, so I roughed this out, I would say, yesterday, a little bit the day before. So our spongemen, for those that don't know, are the correlators like lackeys. And here's a few panels where they exist, and they have these little sponges on top of their heads, and they're these little creatures that are like kind of googly-eyed. So these are who are coming out of this ship, and they're attacking the Undersea Hero. So we will continue with probably with our blue pencil for a little bit, just so that we can get some of the bigger things worked out. They do not have scuba tanks, so one of the ongoing gags is that they always have to go up to the surface to get some air. So they have little snorkels. And they all pantomime, all the little heads. So like if one guy has one arm out like this and one arm like this, the arms will be doing the same thing. So today was not my best day, so we're going to be just working through this evening as best we can, and we'll see how it goes. Big week with everybody coming back from San Diego. Was not there this year, but had plenty of friends, and said that it was as good as it always is. So we are ramping up and getting things ready for Baltimore, and trying to just keep working and getting Undersea Hero done. I will be at Baltimore Comic-Con this year. Still got to work out my hotel situation, but a detail, right? But they don't have any sleeves. They have like these little utility belts. They have their mask and snorkel, and they have a, like your classic little loop, little what do you call it? They have what you would just call a little hood. So yeah, and they're very average. None of them are super heroic looking. So I'm just trying to draw normal looking people like you'd see walking down the street. That's one of the things I like about the correlators, little henchmen, is that they are quite normal looking. Um, some are paunchy, some are skinny. They have varying degrees of type. So we don't want to draw them like in too good a shape. We just want them to read as being just normal people. But sometimes because I've been drawing like the exaggerated figure so long that some of that stuff creeps in. So I have to be careful. I'll have these little gloves. From this angle, you're not really going to see a lot of definition in the fingers or anything. My pencils have definitely gotten a bit looser, but I still make those drawing decisions at the inking stage. Here's our little sponge fellow. And from here, you're just going to see like one of the bug eyes like going forward, I think. You'll see one little arm here. You'll see another little arm going that way. And it just sits on top of their head. Like it's just a goofy visual concept that hopefully, the first couple times you get a chuckle out of it. It's the kind of thing where I wasn't really thinking about it, but somebody said that would be a really easy cosplay, just to make a little sponge and put it on top of your head and then have a snorkel. And I said, yeah, that would be easy. Hey, who knows? It could be a short run tonight. It's always interesting drawing figures underwater because you don't have to be governed by gravity quite so much, but it still needs to look like they're moving through. They're moving, so it's very easy to have a figure in 3D space look like it's not moving, and then it just looks stiff. But yeah, this is page 34. We're closing in on working on the final act, the last act of this thing. So um, it's going to be interesting when we take all the different videos that we've done and like super speed them up and glue them all together and see like a year of my life in like 5 minutes. You might be able to hear Bruce out there, the cat. He's hollering. It's not dinner time. He already got fed, so. Pretty quiet night tonight. Just had a chicken sandwich for dinner. I've been weaning myself off of caffeine lately, so I'm just getting tired earlier in the day. Little snorkel. In times like this with a big shot like this, I lean on my phrase that's just, does it read? Does it read as what I'm hoping to achieve? Like if someone was flipping through it, would they be able to read what's going on? And I think so far we're doing all right. Got little pouches. It's a pretty simple design. I didn't want to over design the characters. I just wanted it to look like regular dudes that are like doing a job. And there are lady sponge persons, but they are not in this little squad here. Come back down, up. But the Spongemen are fun. I like drawing the little regular people that are just in the part of the overall crew and the undersea denizens. There, um, in the Tick, you'll notice that like regular people don't generally participate in the superheroics. Of course, from aside from people who put in on like the super suits, like Arthur or whatever, and I wanted to have an opportunity to build into the storytelling some like regular people stories. So like I could very easily see myself doing a day in the life of a Spongeman, like backup story or standalone story. Because to me that's interesting. I like that sort of thing when I'm looking at the different tropes and the different things that are the foundations for the genre, the superhero genre in general, and just try to dissect them and look at them in different ways and think of different things of different ways in which they can be written about that you know I haven't necessarily seen done. So you know, it's a really simple way to do that is to build that in. See, this guy was getting a little too athletic looking. We need to dial the definition back. But see, that's where using those exaggerations helps create some of the movement. So, like, I'm kind of betwixt between two stylistic approaches and trying to exaggerate enough movement. So, like I've always said many times, believability over realism. And there's some artists and creators who draw very um, exaggerated stuff, and it's very believable. I think of Mirka Andolfo as being just tremendous at that. She has these wild, exuberant character ranges that she just is a master of, and even though they just don't look like photographs, they are just believable people in their own realities, and that's one of the reasons I adore her work. I'll pick up random books that just she's attached to. She's one of those creators that I will follow them over IP. You know, Carrier Andrews is another one who I think does a just an incredible job of creating believable characters that are exaggerated and interesting looking and just have a range of emotions that goes beyond what a photograph can do. And that's where I tip my hat, just marvel at it. I don't know if I've ever been able to do that. I don't know. Yes, believe me, I will be very happy when this is a completed project and on its way to people. So as many of you know, you've seen me working on it like every week for the most part, with the exception of like the yearbook week. I think was the only one that and then a couple of Planet comics for my buddy's Kickstarter, which I have one more I actually have to redo for him because I messed it up. I messed up that foot there a little bit. Yeah, I'll probably have to redraw that leg and fix that. That looks wrong. That looks like I messed that up, but it's been that kind of day. So I have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. No, I have not. I'm spending all my weekends working on this. What do you think I've been doing? And then occasionally I have to do like regular life stuff, unfortunately. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, without an afternoon cup of tea or anything, I start to crash at probably 9 o'clock these days. I used to work until 10, and then I would watch TV till 11, and I would go to bed, get up at 6, whatever, and then do it again. But as I've gotten older, it's become tougher and tougher to do that type of work. I'll be interested to see what it does look like when it's shrunk down and it's got I mean, the colors are going to carry a lot of storytelling in this book, which is kind of a change for me because I don't always do color and I don't always like color on my comics. I love black and white comics. I have some stories in the hopper that I'm not going to be able to touch for a little while, but I definitely want to do them in black and white. Maybe sometime in the fall, in the early winter. And I'm still trying to decide on how I want to put some of these things out there. Some of them I am considering just posting on my website. Others, people have said, oh, you should do Patreon and all this, but I don't know. The paperwork of the business is makes me grow weary sometimes. So I do love Mike Vosberg is a friend of mine, and I actually love his method of putting out comics. Is he just makes them and then he posts them on his website, and then if people want to buy them when he feels like printing them, he just tells them, "Hey, I'm going to do a print run. If you want one, I'll tack it in there." No big Kickstarter campaign, no big formalities, no big overtures, no obligations on people's parts. If they don't want to support it, it's totally fine. Um, and I don't have to. necessarily be relegated to any sort of thing. Hey, Michael, how are you? Good to see you. Got a few people on YouTube tonight, so that's nice. I follow. I see that I get new followers over there, but I don't know. I don't really have time to engage in the rest of the greater YouTube community, so I don't know if my channel really grows all that much. I would like to do some different videos, like where whether it's a comic flip or looking at original artwork or something. I would like to come up with some short form stuff that doesn't require a ton of editing because I just don't have time to edit stuff. That's one of the reasons we are live every week. So I like sharing the process, and I don't have time to make big, long, edited documentaries. And to be frank, I don't think I need any sort of documentary about my work of any kind. Editing takes forever, honestly. And people who don't do it or haven't done it, uh, editing videos for different platforms and stuff, especially now that one of the platforms doesn't like to play nice with the rest. Really, has just taken their ball and gone home. Um, it's interesting. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. How's things? Jeff Young, Turtles fan, Jeff Young. I guess people are really looking forward to the new Turtle series. I have not had a chance to look at it. I guess the copies made their way out into the world. Get the little belt in there. Oh, not the last Ronin, the new TMNT series. They're starting it over from issue 1. I have not. I guess the Jason Aaron book has surfaced, whether it's at San Diego or elsewhere. I don't know. I haven't been to my LCS in some time. I actually spent a chunk of the weekend getting my fishing equipment ready because I would like to go out into the peaceful quiet of fishing for a little bit, hopefully this weekend. Oh, nothing too fancy, just saltwater bait casting. Really simple, relaxing. Right. We did finish page 33 during the week. This is page 34. Um, we're heading towards the home stretch of this thing for the line art, and then I'll just be working on the coloring. And thanks to the Kickstarter, I can actually hire some help. You guys made it possible for me to hire my buddy Jesse to do some flats for me on this, and I'm, looking forward to that because he does a great job, and it really helps me out. Fishing is amazing. It's relaxing. I usually just go catch and release. I just go have fun. Um, I haven't been at all this year. And it's one of those things that, like, you get out there, nobody can bother you. Turn the phone off. I just have always liked it. My dad taught me how to fish when I was a kid, and it's always been a part of my life. And I would actually love to do some stories about it, do some comics about it. You too? Oh, very nice, very nice. Good memories. Yeah, that sounds nice, man. Well, if you're ever in my neck of the woods, absolutely, we'll toss a line in someplace. Like, first memories are fishing. Cool. Do you get to go often? I actually did ask my buddies the last time I went to San Diego if anybody wanted to go charter fishing, and everybody said no. So I was I was outvoted, I guess, on that one. But if I get back out there, I'll just go by myself, I guess. I've never caught a fish in the Pacific Ocean. I have been fishing in Florida, actually. I did get to go fishing in Florida once. I went just bait casting in the Everglades. We caught stuff like snapper and caught a stingray, um, snook, all kinds of little stuff. Yeah, it was great. We were just using shrimp on a hook with I would say medium tackle. It was awesome. It was me and my dad just on a boat floating down the Everglades. It was great. Also, my dad got sick shortly after that. He's fine now. I will preface it by saying that, but he went through after that fishing trip. He had to go through an ordeal. So um, I still have really, really good memories of that trip, and it was only for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. And it wasn't that expensive either because we didn't go very far. We just hopped on the boat and they pulled us around this bend and we just tossed our lines in. I have family down in Louisiana. I've never been fishing there. I've heard it's really good. So yeah, you do have warm weather year round. So I guess you could go fishing many, many more days out of the year. So my jealousy is palpable. That's why I had to clean off my gear because we were running out of summer already. We've Tomorrow is August, which, geez, too much, too fast, too much. All right, well, this is kind of a wonky angle that I picked here, so we've got to try to build this with our geometric shapes. I think that this hand has to come out a little bit, and then we can go like this. It really is, man. Seriously, this year is just melting off the calendar, and I am perpetually busy. And of course, like I was having one of those days where I just couldn't focus as well as I'd like, and I left my prelim for this page at my desk at work, so that's why I'm just kind of winging it here. Guys. Oh, you got your scuba certification? Very cool. You and there are other scuba divers that regularly frequent the stream. One of them's actually an instructor, taught at a university, taught scuba there. Um, I love snorkeling. I've just never had the resources or the time or the money to do scuba, so that's very cool. Especially down in Florida, you can go all over the place. Yeah, and I did go snorkeling down in Florida. That was beautiful, amazing. So many brightly colored fish species there. Oops, got blurry. Oh, there we go. I follow a lot of the undersea cameras and research institutes on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, like Mbari, and yeah, it's some of my favorite like completely wholesome internet content where like I'll just be like needing 5 minutes and they'll have this beautiful image of like a deep sea fish or jellyfish or a whole school of eagle rays or something else. It's just love the ocean. It's one of the things that was weird about the time I lived in Ohio for like middle school and high school. I tried describing it, but folks just, Midwestern folks that had never lived on the coast just didn't understand. Now this line here is not going to get inked, but it's actually to show me where the color line's going to be. And then there's going to be this will be white with just a slight screen tint around the edge, and then this will just be the cyan for the water. There's an octopus documentary? No, I did not, but I want to. I want to see it. I did not see the octopus documentary. I watched a lot of Shark Week like I usually do. I have mixed feelings about a lot of the stuff they put on there, but there were some really good ones on there. There was one about the uh, deep sea sharks off the coast of Japan. I thought that one was really, really well done. It was like a research based show of like, hey, we're looking for this cool fish. How about we try to find it instead of sensationalizing like, you know, sharks are monsters, blah 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 blah. Just feeding into the fear. Because the truth is that sharks are around us all the time at the beach, and they 99.9% of the time leave us alone. So I remember many times I'd be fishing just off the beach on Nantucket, and we would just pull in like a sandbar shark or a dogfish. Sandbar shark have teeth, but dogfish don't even have teeth, so they're pretty harmless. But just the shape of the animal just scared the bejesus out of people. So that's right. They don't even know they're there. They just, down in Florida, you guys got all kinds of reef sharks and nurse sharks and a zillion different types of sharks. Up here in close to the shore, not as many. A lot in the open water, like blue sharks and mako sharks and poor beagles and threshers, all kinds of stuff. But right in close, it's mostly just little sand sharks, and they, like I said, don't even have teeth. So I mean, obviously, if you're swimming near some seals or something, one of them might come in to mistake you for something that you're not. You can go shark tooth hunting in your area of Florida, Jeff. That's very cool. I went to a riverbed in Cleveland, and a fossilized one, and I never found any teeth or anything, but I did find lots of like brachiopods, and I found a trilobite, stuff like that. But I've never found a tooth of any kind. It's pretty cool. Megalodon teeth. You found one of those? That's crazy. Let's see if we can do a little inking, I guess. Since we're making our way through this, I gotta find brush pens. There's one. Oh, they find them on tooth huts. Yeah, when I worked I was a volunteer at the Mariah Mitchell Aquarium for a number of years. When I worked there, there's a place on Nantucket called the Bathtub. It's a gigantic uh, lagoon out isolated in some pretty far off the beaten path at a place called Eel Point. And we used to find all the coolest stuff there. Tropical fish that would get caught up in the Gulf Stream, all kinds of stuff. It was very cool. Yeah, you can't. It's hard to get to, and it's in a bunch of preserve land, so they can't build houses or anything around it, or even build a road out to it. And it's a long walk on soft sand, or you have to drive on soft sand, and it's very tough to get to. So um, it's really cool. We used to catch butterfly fish, mangrove snappers, all kinds of stuff. Uh, Permit, pompano. Trying to think of other tropical fish we used to catch. Yeah, and they would just get caught in the Gulf Stream, and they'd be on their way up. And usually, snowy grouper. We found some of those. Have I swam in the springs in Florida? I've been to a place called Tarpon Springs, but I don't. I've never. I don't think so. Where are those? Pretty much the whole panhandle of Florida has them. There are freshwater springs that pump out millions of gallons of clear water at a time, and they're very, very cold. I had no idea. No, never done that. You do that when it gets real hot down there? 72 year round. That sounds pretty good. I had to jump into, was it 38, 39-degree water for this the ice jump challenge on the Undersea Hero. That was very cold. I will say that was quite cold. Um, I have to send that video to the person that backed it first, and then I will post it for everybody to see. But I wanted to do that. That'll be when I get to the fulfillment stages of this thing. This is just an FH pen from Faber-Castell. It's a Pitt pen. They're real simple. It's almost like a easier version of an ink brush, I would describe it as, because it's got a tip that functions like a hybrid brush slash pen. It's similar to the Kiritaki ones, but a little different. Jeff says you can tube down Rainbow River springs like natural lazy river. That sounds very nice. I don't even remember the last time I wrote in an inner tube. It was a long time ago. I don't think I need any fast inner tube rides, but I could go for a lazy one. That sounds pretty good to me. Devil's Den Spring. I do like to snorkel. It's an easy way to get a little glimpse of the undersea world that you don't need to take a bunch of classes for. Yeah, I've actually snorkeled so much of Nantucket, like the east and west jetty. I've done the entire thing. I've gone all the way out to the end, which they don't want you to do. But back when I worked at the aquarium, we had the special okie dokies from some of the lifeguards with places like that, and some of it from the harbor master too. We had a little permit for collecting stuff and things like that. Jeff says it's the perfect speed. You get a free boat ride upriver and you drift down. That sounds lovely. I could use an escape. Probably couldn't afford a flight or anything, but I could definitely use a day off. And that sounds delightful. Not sure how far we'll get, but if we could finish this headshot, I would be very pleased. That'd be a good level of achievement after today. Today's been, like I said, a bit of an off day for me, so let's get our brush. Let's get our actual brush so we can get a better texture here. Because this is, I've shown this many times. This is the natural bristle. I actually got to swap out the bristle. You can see it has a couple of hairs hanging off to the side there. Extra, a little bit of ink stuck on the end. There we go. Much as I like the FH pen, you can see how sharp the brush pen gets as opposed to the FH. It's got a little bit of a softer edge to it, but on those hairlines, you can see how sharp they are. Flip this over. Of course, it gets blurry. See if we can get it to stay. There we go. Okay, camera decided to help us out. And I always think just like pieces of hair just kind of floating in the water looks kind of, you can have it, it can be funny, it can be just a cool silhouette. It can change the silhouette of your character just instantly. There we go. See, and once I get going with this, it just takes a little bit of practice. I can't tell you for how many years I fought using a brush. Hello, Gene. How are you? Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I fought inking with a brush for a long time when I was young, and it has become just, over time, my favorite way to ink stuff. And it was not always the case. It's very hard. It takes a long time to learn. And then the brushes, you got to replace them, you got to clean them, you got to take care of them. But yeah, it's something that I definitely enjoy. I find it relaxing because when I've got the ink brush going, that means that the drawing is in a place where I can finish it. And finishing drawings is the best feeling there is for me. And you'll see how I vary from my pencil drawings when I come back in, and it's just because I know when I put down that line that I'm going to do something slightly different. course. I had to tell something to not update in the middle of my stream, please. That would be not ideal. I wouldn't say it's the middle. I would say it's the back 9 for tonight. If I make it till 9 and we finish this headshot, I think we've served our greater purpose. All right, we can put this away. Then we can take this tool back out. Because it's an easy way to get a tapered line. This with the FH pen. There we go. It looks pretty good. I like he has this look on his face of like, fine, your thing is broken. I'll just sit here. And that's what he's basically saying. And then he goes, no, Spongeman attack. And then his little minions go and attack Undersea Hero. So again, pushing further back the release of Krill Force. Got a delay. Delay. But also still be entertaining and funny. It does get to an absurdist point a little bit later. Oh, thank you. There's got to be cartooning. I'm always fighting that balance between illustration and cartooning. And for Undersea Hero, I definitely wanted to lean more into the cartooning. So sort of a displeased, over-exaggerated eyelids, frowny face kind of half off to one side. Then you get his hair swirling around, and we gotta add a few. We gotta get our little bit of a finer. Is this a 0.5? It's a small. It's a 0.3. Well, we'll use a 0.3. And we have like one hair that sticks up. Because I don't know about anybody else when they gotta go do their hair in the morning. One hair is usually sticking up funny for me. Like today I had a little like swirl in the front that I couldn't get rid of on my hair. I just had to go with it and hope for the best. Yeah, I get our spikes in there. I need a 0.5. This thing just ain't working. See if this has any juice left. Because if I use too small of a pen, when I reduce the size, the line basically like disappears. And the only thing that's there is what's like being held together structurally is the color. I just don't like when that happens. He looks slightly bored and annoyed. That's kind of like, okay, fine. Page 34. Moving right along. Well, it's 9 o'clock. I don't know if we need to keep going just to keep going. yeah, we'll just we'll call it an easy night tonight. So thanks everybody for coming in. Next week we will probably be on page 35, and we'll just keep on keeping on. So thanks, Jeff, for coming and hanging out. It was cool hanging out, hearing about Florida and fishing and snorkeling down there. I definitely would check out the springs if I ever get a chance. So uh, yeah, enjoy the rest of your week and have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.